This company's never been more profitable.
You mean hugely profitable?
I like it.
DavePorter.com presents The Profitable Cleaner, a podcast on commercial cleaning sales and entrepreneurship. The one podcast that's not afraid to discuss real sales strategies with real cleaning professionals that produce real profits and real results.
What's up, all my profitable leaders and profitable cleaners? Today, I'm hosting solo on the show. I'm James Harper, and welcome to the Profitable Cleaner podcast. Listen, it's been a little bit since I've rode solo on this show. Typically, I have my co-host and partner, Angel Sandoval, on here with me, and we mostly have an awesome guest. But today, I just wanted to get on here, get you guys some thoughts and some information and really some mindset that I believe will set you up for success as we end the year here and head into 2023. So this time of year is always a really unique and what exciting time of year for me. Not only is it the holidays that can add chaos with work, chaos with family and schedules, but it's a really reflective time, which is why I think it's exciting and very unique. I get to take a minute and assess, what did I do this last year that was good, that was bad? Where were my wins? Where were my challenges? And really take time to reflect and put that all down onto paper. And that's the first action I want you guys to consider here. Take a few hours and reflect on the last 12 months within this industry, within your cleaning company, and literally write down the wins, the losses, the challenges, the struggles, and any ideas and thoughts. This is a really good mindset practice to get what's in your head onto paper. And when that starts happening, your mind, your body, your heart, your ideas start flowing all in unison. And then next thing you know, you feel like this sense of not just relief, but you see this release. And then all of a sudden, you realize you get more coming back to you. You go, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought back in June when I lost that life-changing contract. Or, okay, now that I'm thinking about this, this is what I would do differently. All of a sudden, you start to have those aha moments, and you start to get what I call mental momentum. And that's really good. So take a few hours in quiet, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, no email, and reflect. Maybe it doesn't have to be a few hours. Maybe that's extreme. But I like to give myself 2 hours of just solid reflection. And I write down, I might use 4 or 5 pages of full notebook paper, right? I don't type it. I literally want to put pen to paper. I want to write this down, and kind of whatever comes to me, right? But I feel that mental momentum and I feel that release, and I start to feel rejuvenated and get these new ideas. But then the second part of this, and this is where the true magic happens, is change is inevitable, growth is optional. And I want that to kind of be the key message within this podcast. Change is inevitable within our business, within our life. Change happened in 2022 within the industry, within your janitorial business, but growth is optional. Growth is ultimately up to us. That's the one thing we can control. We can't control change, but we can control growth. So now that we've just reflected on what the last 12 months was for us, and we're just very matter of fact, very neutral, very understanding of what the last year was, now we have to realize change is going to happen again in 2023. Regardless of what we do, change will happen. Now, what we can do, which we do have control over, is the growth. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. I absolutely love that saying because it could not be more true just for life, but could not be more true for business owners that do have control of how their business performs and what success and what failures ultimately you're going to see in 2023. So we just reflected on what the past 12 months was. Now let's talk about the 12 months that's coming up. We do have to set goals. Absolutely. I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that think goals are bullshit. I'm also not one of those entrepreneurs that think goals are everything, right? Behavior and habits come before success. And success, I believe, ultimately comes before or through our behaviors. So that means goals just a result and just an outcome of what we're already doing to get there, right? So it's really about the process. So how I set goals, and I'm actually going to link a former training we did on dayporter.com about goals this time last year. It's very simple. If you have a number goal, set an MTO goal, a minimum target outrageous. If you want to grow by 20% next year, then you should have a minimum. Your minimum should be 20%. Your target should be 25%, and your outrageous, your dream, your stretch goal should be 30%. There's your goals, guys. That's the outcome. But now we have to truly map out what we're going to do quarter over quarter, month over month, and break that down into week over week on how we're going to achieve those goals. Things are going to change. Remember, that's inevitable. But growth is up to us. Growth is optional, right? And we're going to opt into growth ultimately. So let's just take a very simple goal. Let's take our company's revenue. You want to grow next year like everyone does, especially in the janitorial space, which I believe is going to continue to see an influx of people considering new cleaning partners. So how are we going to capitalize on that? Set your MTO goal. You have a minimum target, you have your target, and then you have your outrageous target, right? Those are your goals. Now ask yourself, what do you have to do starting now to prepare, but really starting January 1 through March to achieve that first chunk of that goal to hit your target? What do you have to do? You have a quarterly goal now. You have a quarterly outcome, but now you have to really list out all of those processes and all of those habits one by one. And then you have to talk about who does what, who delegates what. This is a process we're going through right now within my business, within our business, I should say, a day porter and the profitable cleaner. It's not an easy process, right? We reflected on what was the last year. It was a crazy year for us, a lot of change, right? Growth was optional for us, and we opted in at growth towards the end of the year. But now we're really trying to get focused and intentional and specific on what our habits, processes, and systems will be to achieve the outcomes, aka goals for next year. So you have to do the same. What's your goal Q1, or what do you need to hit Q1 to get your target goal for the year? Okay, you could probably do that math. It's just simple math, guys. But now ask yourself, what are the 3 things? What are the 5 things? What are the 50 things? You have to decide that actually have to get done to do that. So again, if we're going after revenue and you need 20 more accounts, that's 2 accounts on average per month, right? Q1, you have to sign on 5 new clients some way, somehow. Now, maybe you're not going to get any on the first month, but you're going to get 3 month 2 and 2 that third month, right? To end out Q1. How many people do you have to have conversations with? How many hands do you have to shake to make more money, right? You have to start doing this math. And then you have to realize, okay, I need about 10 hours a week of outreach on how to do this. Now, am I responsible for that, or is my partner responsible for that? Am I responsible for that, or should I hire someone for that? Then you have to start mapping out these processes, right? I want to be the best in my market, not only at cleaning, but I want to dominate our local competition through referrals. Okay, great. How do you get those referrals? Okay, well, we need to have clean buildings. How are we ensuring our buildings are clean? By quality checklists. What are we doing to, what do our checklists look like to report that back to our client to make sure that we can have a conversation on, if you know someone, tell them to call us because we do great work. You really have to start to be almost mechanical and methodical about breaking this down, because goals are just an outcome and an end result of what we're already doing, right? That's where the growth part, that's why it's optional. So are we opting into growth and really opting into new behaviors, new habits to form a new version of success for us? Or are we just saying, hey, this is what we want to do, and hopefully we get there, right? That's the inevitable part. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen one way or the other. It's up to us if that's good change or bad change, right? Now, I'm not the poster child for goal setting by any stretch of the way. I'm the poster child of what not to do. I've achieved a lot of goals in my life, and honestly, I'm ashamed to say this, by accident. But when I reflect, that's why that reflection, that just moment of time looking back at what's worked and what didn't is so important. When I reflect, it's all from the identity I put on, from the behaviors I started doing, and from my beliefs of thinking, okay, I want to do this. And then kind of by accident, my behaviors followed my beliefs and I started doing those things. I wasn't intentional about it. So what can happen when you get intentional? That's the big question. You've already achieved some level of success if you're running a business. Maybe you're a huge business listening to this podcast. Maybe you're a first timer. I don't know. You got to ask yourself, what level of success have you already achieved and how have you already got there? Reflect, spend 2 hours, figure out what the last 12 months was for you. Be honest, be real, be grateful for it. And then you're going to figure out what your result is going to be for the next 12 months, because change is inevitable. Growth is optional. What are those goals? How do we define goals, especially if they're numerical goals? Minimum, target, outrageous. We have our minimum goal. We have our target goal. We have our outrageous goal, right? Do that for weight loss. Do that for revenue. Do that for sales, number of accounts, employees, whatever. But break it down like that. But that doesn't really matter. It's what behaviors, what beliefs, what processes and systems and people do you need in place to achieve that outcome, that success, that growth? Because you're opting into growth for 2023. I can promise you that. You're listening to this podcast. You're a profitable cleaner. You're a profitable leader. You bet your ass you're opting in for growth for 2023. Guys, couldn't be more grateful for our community, for our profitable cleaners out there, for our profitable leaders out there. You guys are awesome, man. I absolutely love you guys. I want to just share a moment of gratitude for you. The show has 0 sponsors right now. And I say that because we're so careful with what information and who we put in front of you. And you guys have been so awesome at giving us connection and feedback and really fellowship with all the people we've met through this podcast. So I just want to take a minute, wish you and your family a happy holidays, say thank you for the last 12 months of listening to us on this podcast. And there's going to be obviously more podcasts before 2022's up, but I'm just in this moment of gratitude right now. Want to acknowledge that. Join our Facebook group, guys. That's where our information goes. That's where our energy flows. Check out our YouTube pages. But I couldn't be more happy to have the opportunity to speak with you guys on a weekly basis. So James is out. Talk to you guys next time.